Hundreds of people are tonight in evacuation centres as dangerous flooding continues across the southeast. 3 people have died, one of them an SES volunteer who went to rescue a stranded family. It was just one of 1,900 calls the SES responded to in the last 24 hours. The rainfall totals are huge. Overnight, more than half a metre fell at Mount Glorious near Brisbane and Pomona on the Sunshine Coast. All that rain means a dramatic rise in dam levels. The region's water grid now stands at 98% capacity. And Gympie is experiencing one of its worst ever floods. We'll take you there shortly, but first to Ipswich and Brisbane. Alison Horn reports.
The Bremer River now a raging torrent, cutting through Ipswich, swallowing homes and businesses. Chris Ambury has just arrived here to find his mechanic workshop underwater.
There's probably, 50 grand's worth of equipment, and then there's a couple of cars in there. There's a rare charger in there that's a 6-figure car.
What's it going to mean for your business?
Starting again almost, depending on sort of what's lost, whether we can save any of the hoists or anything like that.
Neighbours pitched in to help others rescue what they could, praying everyone in their community was safe.
There was a lady living down there, but as I said, the water was up. We couldn't get down there when we woke up this morning, so we don't know. Hopefully they got out.
The downstairs of Maggie Orchard's home is completely inundated. She's still processing the enormous damage and what will be a gruelling clean-up.
What do you say? It's going to happen. Just hoping that we don't get too much more.
Residents and business owners here in Ipswich say the bulk of this water came up in the middle of the night. They evacuated and tried to salvage what they could, but as you can see, a lot's been left behind. The treacherous conditions have claimed the life of SES volunteer Merryl Dray, killed while trying to save others.
The SES vehicle in which they were travelling was swept off the road into floodwaters. 3 of our members were rescued. One of those members is deceased.
Those that wear the SES uniform are Orange Angels. They put others ahead of themselves. They go into harm's way to save others.
A second life was lost in Brisbane. A 55-year-old man's body was found in receding waters at Stones Corner, and late today another man was found deceased near Gympie. In Brisbane's north, 170 millimetres fell in the space of 1 hour. This Clayfield backyard submerged with knee-high water through the house. Cars too went under as the massive deluge swamped low-lying suburbs. Large debris, including trees and pontoons, were dragged down a heaving Brisbane river. Flash flooding gushed and churned, cutting off 1,000 roads across southeast Queensland. This one washed away, with enterprising locals rigging up a flying fox to reach those stranded.
For being able to get groceries and things across.
Dams across the southeast are spilling.
Yeah, she's pretty high. There's been an amazing amount of rainfall in the last 48 to 72 hours.
The gates on Wivenhoe were opened last night, with more releases to come.
I know this is of concern to many people who have experienced 2011. Please, there is no concern for alarm.
But certainly enough rain to keep some residents on edge. Alison Horn, ABC News, Ipswich.
Let's go live to Emergency Management Headquarters. Deputy Commissioner Mark Roach is with me. Thank you for your time on a very busy night. Which parts of the southeast are you most concerned about this evening?
Well, this is a very dangerous weather event. It's wide-ranging. It goes from Hervey Bay to the Gold Coast and out well and truly past Toowoomba. So it's a large area. Our concern is covering all of those local government areas in the southeast Queensland. Most of the activity at the moment we're starting to see around the north of Brisbane, but North Coast, Gympie, out the Lockyer Valley in Brisbane, they're all being impacted as we speak.
Yeah, evacuations were ordered at Gympie this afternoon. Are you confident everyone's out safely?
Yeah, we have our SES volunteers and other QFES staff actually assisting with Gympie, with the local disaster management group through those evacuations. Our SES volunteers have attended well over 2,700 tasks over the last 24 hours. Now, Fire and Rescue Service, Swiftwater Rescue crews, they've attended about 150 or more rescues or water-related incidents. So it's a very busy time for our teams.
Deputy Commissioner, thank you so much. Well, as we've just heard, a serious situation is unfolding in Gympie tonight with evacuations ordered. At almost 22 metres and rising, the Mary River is at flood heights not seen in almost 125 years.
An unrelenting deluge fueling the might of the Mary River. The unstoppable force had frightening consequences for the people of Gympie.
The shop's completely under. We've lost it. It's gone.
The main street is awash. Businesses inundated, some with water up to the roof.
It was a little bit confronting this morning to go and see it.
Even long-standing residents are shocked at the severity.
I've been here probably nearly 20 years. This is it's close to what I've seen before, but I think it's going to get bigger.
With no sign of reprieve from the downpour.
Expectation was that this system would move quite quickly through, but it hasn't. It's decided to stay.
The Premier ordered up to 700 people to evacuate.
If we don't do this now, people will become isolated and trapped.
Some residents have been stranded outside town since conditions worsened yesterday.
I slept in my truck.
Others drove around for hours, searching for a way in.
All up, we used 240 k's of fuel. So it was about just under $180 worth.
The community galvanised, with volunteers offering a barbecue breakfast for those in need.
Coles donated eggs, we've got blankets and pillows.
In Maryborough, residents are preparing for tomorrow, with predictions flood levels from January will be exceeded. Further south, Buderim has also felt the impact.
And it was just very torrential. Yeah, I've never seen anything like it.
Residents preparing.
We've got sort of quite a bit coming through the back door.
And bracing for what's still to come.
They're really heavy, I don't recommend carrying them.
Business owners at Maroochydore have thrown up their hands.
This is how you, I guess, find out about the uncontrolling force of nature. So we're hoping to get a bit of relief in the next couple of days. I'm not sure if that's going to happen.
But unfortunately, Mother Nature provides no guarantees.
This is something that is completely unpredictable.
The Noosa River behind me has been steadily rising through the afternoon, and roads like this one have been inundated as we approach high tide. While there's a slight reprieve in the weather right now, the rain throughout the day in this region has been unrelenting. And what's worrying authorities is that there's more to come.
And Ashleigh Theodorou is in Noosa tonight. Ash, evacuation centres have been set up there too.
That's right, Jess. There's one at the Noosa Leisure Centre and there's a new one open tonight at the Sunshine Coast University in the stadium there. And that's a good option for people who have been stranded on the Bruce Highway. There's been hundreds of cars turned around at Steve Irwin Way. That evacuation centre there is providing meals and bedding for people who may need it. The road behind me where I am at Noosa is still inundated and authorities are concerned that streets around this area could be impacted around high tide, which is about tomorrow morning at about 5:30. But this whole region from Noosa down to Caloundra has been impacted by major flooding, and the Bureau says that there could be further river peaks tomorrow. It's still raining a little bit here tonight, and as we know, there is more on the way.
Ashleigh Theodorou, thank you. Flash floods in the Lockyer Valley have brought back nightmares of the devastation and heartache caused in 2011. And with more rain today, the threat hasn't passed. The warning siren ran out at Grantham again this afternoon.
Mud covers the floor of Lloyd Warr's Helidon home. The damage isn't as bad as it was in 2011, but this flood has broken him.
Just getting back on our feet after 2011 floods, and now this happens again, so probably be a matter of cleaning it up and see if we can get someone to buy it.
11 years ago, he and his wife Jean were rescued from the roof of their home. Yesterday, as the creek rose, They got stuck while trying to drive to safety and had to be saved from the roof of their ute.
Get too old to start again. Anyway, that's life.
His biggest worry is that the creek will flood again. Riley McDonald has been trying to get home from Toowoomba since yesterday.
Oh, shit was scary, eh? It was pretty wet, a lot of water on the road and a lot of just random stuff. Like, you know, washing machines and stuff down Withcott, floating on the side of the road.
Joe Versace needs to get back to Grantham.
Stranded here at Helidon, and luckily to get to Helidon I had a police escort along the road.
Shop owner Vikram Singh is just grateful his Withcott store stayed dry as the town's roads became raging rivers.
Water was just here, so it was going to go inside, but then suddenly the rain stopped.
Although the reprieve didn't last long. John Daly, ABC News, Lockyer Valley.
Let's bring in Jenny Woodward now. And Jenny, the rain has been just relentless. Is there an end in sight?
Well, Jess, conditions should start to ease by tomorrow evening. Hello, everyone. After being stationary for a few days, the system is expected to start slipping south late tomorrow into northern New South Wales. But there could still be some heavy falls on the Gold Coast on Monday morning. But before then, there's no respite, with widespread intense rain at times from Gympie to the border and beyond. Totals of 200 to 300 millimetres have been common, while up to 9 a.m. Mount Glorious had an extraordinary 709 millimetres, with another 244 today. Many rivers are in major flood and there are extensive moderate and minor flood warnings. And I'll be back later in the bulletin with all the latest forecasts.